Democrats are switching parties in droves. That's right. In this video, we're going to take a look at a slew of articles sounding the alarm. We're going to see where the Democrats are literally hemorrhaging voters. And stick me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal what the implications for such hemorrhaging are for the midterms and beyond. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Stevie with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote. As each and every day, I provide patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent and woke times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe. But before we begin, gang, this is your last chance to come out and join me and the one and only number 45 himself, President Donald J. Trump, in Houston, Texas, this Saturday, January 29th. I want to see you there and meet you in person. We're going to be holding an exclusive Turley Talks live Q&A that Saturday night. And if you're one of the first 150 people to click on the link below to sign up for the Houston event, you're going to be invited to that Q&A. It's going to be absolutely amazing, but spots are limited. So click on that link below right now. Don't waste any time. Register to join me, President Trump, Don Trump Jr., Kayleigh McEnany, and a host of other amazing patriots in Houston on January 29th, this Saturday. Can't wait to see you there. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. You know, there have been a number of articles written of late on the massive shift in voter affiliation and identification, a shift that is inordinately benefiting the MAGA movement, America First Republicans, who appear to be on our way to a possible supermajority in the not-so-distant future. Take a look at this headline from the British Daily Mail. It just came out the other day. They were loyal liberals who never dreamed of voting Republican, but the damage done to kids by the left's COVID hysteria is driving a wave of moms away from the Democrats. It's a fascinating piece that details the extraordinary shift happening particularly among Virginia Democrats. An inordinate amount of Virginia Democrats have indeed switched parties because they believe that the Democratic Party now listens only to special interest groups like the teachers' unions rather than parents. They would go to these Democrat-run school board meetings, and their concerns over their kids getting back to school just fell on deaf ears. They would contact their state, their local, their federal representatives, again, mostly Democrats, and their concerns once again fell on deaf ears. And then suddenly, to both their delight and bewilderment, being Democrats, right, these parents found that their concerns were being championed by none other than a Republican, namely Glenn Youngkin. And not just Youngkin, but also Winsome Sears, who is running for lieutenant governor, as well as the Republican candidate for attorney general. And these parents did the unthinkable, or what was unthinkable for them up until that point. They voted Republican. And what is so fascinating about this article here is the parents all plan to do it again and again and again. This is why Democrat strategists are absolutely freaking out. They're freaking out over this whole notion that the Republican Party is becoming, in the words of one former Obama advisor, the GOP is becoming the parent party. Parents have been flocking to the GOP. Parents, gang, not conservatives, not ideologues, parents. Glenn Youngkin won 56% of those voters who self-described themselves as parents and who believed that the Democratic Party has abandoned them, their kids, and their concerns. And this shift alone has the potential of turning the GOP into one of the most massive political coalitions ever seen in American politics. And we're seeing the shift at a national level. Now, we talked about this in one of our videos last week. We have a bombshell Gallup poll that just came out. It shows a dramatic shift in political preferences occurring in the American electorate throughout the year of 2021. And the upshot of it all was that the Democrats began the year with a 9-point advantage over the Republicans. 49% of the electorate identified as Democrats, only 40% identified as Republicans. It was the highest lead for the Democrats since the fourth quarter of 2012. But now, as of today, according to Gallup, that party identification gap has completely flipped. It's reversed. Now the Republicans lead the Democrats in terms of party identification, 47 to 42%. So in short, Democrats dropped in support by 7 points. Republicans gained in support by 7 points, representing overall a 14-point shift in party affiliation. The GOP has the largest advantage over Democrats that we've seen in more than 25 years, in a generation. This is the largest advantage Republicans have had over Democrats in a generation. This is an astonishing development. And it's happening because the Democrats are quite literally hemorrhaging voters. Lifelong Democrats are defecting and joining the MAGA-based America First Republican Party. We're seeing this in Nevada, where voter registration now shows that twice as many Democrats are becoming Republicans than vice versa. We're seeing it in the great free state of Florida, where for the first time in history this year, Republicans officially outnumber Democrats. This is absolutely stunning, and it's showing that all of this migration to Florida by what we call left-UGs, right, people fleeing their blue states and finding haven in Florida, the vast majority of them are registering Republican. We've talked about the astonishing number of Latino voters who are switching parties and becoming Republicans. The latest poll from the Wall Street Journal of Latino voters across the nation found that were the election held today, 44% would vote for Biden, 43% would vote for Trump. That's a totally unprecedented 50-50 split that promises a political earthquake in the next cycle of elections. We've already seen it in Texas, where districts made up of 80-85% Latinos, they've begun to defect en masse and vote Republican. I think it's the last 3 or 4 local elections in these districts that were reliably blue all flipped red. And the number one issue is illegal immigration. The exact opposite of what we're told by the lying mainstream media, right? And on top of all that, Asian voters are abandoning the Democrats. We did another video last week on this. According to the latest Pew survey, Asian Americans are abandoning Biden twice as fast as white Biden supporters. For example, one recent analysis of the shifting electorate in Queens, New York, found that not only is Queens becoming more Republican than ever before, Asians are leading that shift. They found that in the 2020 election, where precincts were at least 50% Asian, they swung 12 points towards Trump, which is the second largest shift among racial enclaves in Queens. And precincts that were at least 75% Asian had a pro-Trump swing of 16 points, with over a third of voters now backing the Republican nominee. So Asian communities, particularly those that are primarily Asian, 75% Asian, are shifting towards Trump and the Republicans by nearly 20-point swing. It's astonishing. But to cap it all off, the Philadelphia Inquirer recently published a report on exit polling from that Virginia election a few months back that found an astonishing 75% of white women without college degrees voting for Republican Glenn Youngkin. And not just Youngkin, but Winsome Sears for lieutenant governor and their Republican attorney general. 75% of white women without college degrees. They are fast becoming recognized as the new political subject. They are in the political driver's seat for elections for the foreseeable future. And they're part of an even larger defection from the Democrat Party, which are your blue-collar manufacturing workers, factory workers, who've historically voted exclusively Democrat, but who defected in droves to vote for Trump in 2016 and 2020. Voters are leaving the Democrats in droves, and it promises nothing short of a bloodbath in the 2022 midterms, which will hopefully be but a prelude to the decisive and triumphant return of the king in 2024. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on Stephen Colbert having a total and complete meltdown over the Democrats' loss of the Senate. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.